Hi guys, welcome back to Marvel Contest of Champions. This is a video all about the state of affairs with regards to classes in the game, because a lot of things have changed. We've seen over the last year a lot of champions have come in from different classes, which has then turned around the kind of totals. Because if you've been following the totals, you'll know that certain classes have been given them a little bit of a screw job when it comes to the extent of characters within their specific class. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're just going to talk about different classes, the changes that have happened over the last year, and just general state of classes. So let's start with Cosmic. The ones that are currently in the game that we know of kind of put a total of 16 in place. We've seen some good ones, we've seen some bad ones, we've seen some, well, maybe overhyped ones, and ones that are completely helpful and absolutely brilliant. And I'm really kind of getting my feelers into Cosmic with regards to certain characters like King Groot, which I'm quite enjoying, and Hyperion, which I'd really like to get. It's one of the ones that I would like to get in the future. There's ones that really do hold their own, and there's ones that I'd say a little bit on the weak side for what they were hyped to be, and that's shape and form with regards to Carnage. I think that the way that this might go in the future is you'll see things with the release of Inhumans on the TV. You may see some more characters relating to that kind of franchise be put into the game. At the moment we've got this kind of cross link with Karnak even, but he's down in skill, so that's disappointing. Obviously we've not seen Cosmic, but still, you know, the link with the Terrigen Mists and Kamala Khan really puts that in place. And obviously the kind of the main thing is that Black Bolt's within it. So expect to see in the future some kind of link with that. I can imagine with Kabam's kind of creation of stories, sometimes they go a bit ridiculous, but if they're going to be more kind of true to comic books and have things with regards to Spider-Man villains, and we've nearly completed the list with regards to Spider-Man villains with the recent event coming into the game, and a part 2 on the way featuring Green Goblin and Doc Ock, there's no kind of excuse for Kabam really exploring comic book links and looking towards things with regards to Inhumans. So I reckon that the Cosmic line, which does currently stand at 16 characters within it, which it did go through a big kind of boost at a time, and that is as pretty good. I just think that in the future they should look to be padding this a little bit more frequently. The general consensus about Cosmic line is that they're not as strong as they should be. They should be a lot more stronger than they are. There's some little gems within here, so there's Black Bolt, there's Drax, there's Hyperion, there's King Groot, Miss Marvel loosely, Phoenix if you're using her in a state of affairs to kind of get that incinerate up, or if you want to absolve those Phoenix forces with regards to your Fury, yeah, that can be quite good. Ronan's alright. Symbiote Spider-Man, I do enjoy him a lot. Thanos, yeah, good, great even, but not everybody has him. Thor, Shadow was for myself, and Venom Paul are good. I think that some of these Spidey ones could have been given a lot more with regards to sustenance on power and attack. Maybe the base stats could be improved a little bit, but yeah, Cosmic's not up there as being one of the lead kind of classes to have. The Mutant line, however, is one of these things where it comes with peaks and troughs. So you've got real kind of massive peaks with regards to champions like Archangel. Going down the line, you've got the standard red Deadpool. With even going down the line, you've got Iceman. And then you've got Nightcrawler, and then there's Psylocke's good, Wolverine, and Wolverine X23. So it does like this, peaks and troughs. It's up and down, up and down, up and down with regards to success, failure, success, failure. And at the moment, this is standing at a respectable 17. 17 is still pretty good. It's one of the equal highest ones at the moment with regards to characters within it. The way that they go with this line, again, I do hope they continue on. It's like, we've got characters that are really strong, and then characters that are really weak and average. And, well, some are kind of good, but it is this kind of real peaks and troughs. It's like somebody that's on a life support machine, and it's going boop, boop. There's good ones, there's bad ones. It's pretty much the easiest thing to say. And obviously the few gems in there do make this line more interesting, especially because you get to pad it with some insane synergies. Archangel is a character that I really would like to get myself. The implementation with bleeds and poisons mean that you can use this guy to just drain the life force from something, unless they're bleed and poison immune, but still, you know, most of the time this character is going to be totally amazing for what you want to do. It would be nice to see Deadpool back into the arenas, and I would literally take 2 days off. That's the extent of how much I want that champion. I would take 2 days off of work and I would grind that one. Obviously, my holiday, I'm not going to lose money over it, but I would definitely book it in for 2 days of leave just to grind out this guy, and I would like him. Iceman, great character. I really would like to get him. I've not spent too much time trying to kind of get him. I just hope that I get him in a generic way and then utilize him within my game. Don't want to go for featured crystals anymore. Feel a bit bitter about them, to be honest, and just disappointing to not even pick up sub-featured because Kabam likes giving me trash. And I'm not alone. There are a lot of people that suffer, especially Seaton. He's recently gone through a spate of bad luck, and it is disappointing because in some ways we'd like to do more kind of reviews on it and on these characters, and we feel a little bit, you know, well, what have we got? We've kind of like, is Kabam saying to take clay and mold it into something brilliant, like mold it into a fantastic pot? Is that what they're trying to say to us, that we have to utilize the average characters? And that's what they're doing. They're theoretically giving us the average characters first, and so eventually they'll give us the good ones, which, you know, will take forever. Nightcrawler is a character within this class that I'm finding so much enjoyment about. I mean, even though that I've been told that we look alike, can't see the resemblance personally. But the thing is, with Nightcrawler, there's a massive damage output. Obviously, if you're facing against characters that are going to be the high armor or kind of like will a bit bleed immune, it's not going to be so fun. But the extent of the Furies, the bamfing, the deep wounds that are embedded within the character, you just can't ask for a better champion, and I really will probably use this character for a lot of my Legends run in upcoming event through Heroic and Master. Rogue is another champion that I missed out, and Psylocke obviously is good for other things. So it's like this kind of, both characters like life steal, power steal, respectively. Storm, always a delight. X23 and Wolverine I like more. And obviously, if anybody watched my video on X23 and Wolverine, I did make a little mistake in saying that Wolverine had Fury. He does not, so apologies for that little slip up there. But the extent of, again, class, I think they do this right with Mutant, because there are going to be hits and misses with regards to keeping true to form. When you kind of refer to things like Omega level Mutant and kind of building something within the game and going a little bit authentic if you can, I think they're getting it right. There's some characters which I would have liked to have seen to be a little bit better. Magneto is an Omega level Mutant, so therefore wouldn't it be best to give him more kind of like power in certain areas, make him a bit more stronger. Obviously, yeah, we've got that kind of magnetism thing, and like that is kind of is keeping to form. But at the same time, it's like saying, well, that enemy character carries a gun, so therefore that's metal. Shouldn't it just then theoretically apply to anyone wearing metal? But that's another argument for another day on another video, and talking about being authentic to the source material. As numbers go, and with the whole kind of like mutant thing, could they do more? Yeah, they've got so much more to do with mutants. They're only scratching the surface. And if anybody says, hey, there's going to be too much mutants in the game, well, X-Men is a massive franchise. It was a massive franchise prior to any kind of digital or visual kind of means with regards to the comic book purchase. It's just like, it's been out there for ages. And then when we got X-Men Animated Adventures come out, boom, it hits into a bigger audience. We then start getting films. It becomes a massive deal. People are thoroughly into X-Men, so therefore, why not then be one of the leading character numbers within the game? Mystic currently sit at number 13 with regards to characters within the game, and this is something that, you know, you will really struggle to find a bad champion. Wait a minute, I know people are going to say, yes, there are bad champions. Wait a minute, I need to finish. You'll struggle to find a bad champion in the game, with exceptions to ones that Kabam feel they should nerf. And that's the thing, is like Doctor Strange, I don't think there was any great problem with Doctor Strange. Yeah, you could say that, oh well, it forced people were going, oh, I really want to play Doctor Strange, I really want to do this with him, oh yeah, Doctor Strange, and would ignore other characters. But it's like saying that it's going to happen with any character that's been put into the game. Dr. Voodoo is an amazing champion. Dormammu is an amazing champion. I know that because I have him. Ghost Rider is an amazing champion. Once you get these champions awake and you do stuff with them and you kind of figure out how you use them in your roster, they become really, really helpful. Most champions in the line of Mystic have a greater regen, but obviously they do sacrifice that at the extent of things like armor. And check the attributes, guys. In the attributes you'll find a regular kind of scheme of things, like a tech will have increased armor, but they'll have like lower attack. It's just that the way they balance things is kind of it's very interesting. You should spend time to kind of have a look at the attribute changes when you upgrade champions. We've got Guillotine, good strong champion, handy for different things in the game. You've got the Iron Fist, they're good. The extent of armor break is pretty impressive once you get that off. Still eluding me getting that Immortal Iron Fist, maybe one day. Juggernaut, I like Juggernaut in Arena. One of the favourite champions I look to play with. Like, I've got him 440, I don't use him for anything else because he's just like a freight train going through stuff. If you balance things well with like your L1, you got an Unstoppable, and timing it well to the point you're getting hit and then you're back in again, and then you put in another L1, you'll find that you're just like, you are just a freight train going through everything, and it's pretty impressive to see. Loki is pathetically average, but he does have little, a few things that make him more enjoyable, but he is a very kind of niche character in that people that love him and play him are kind of like there's small amount, really. It's in a very kind of niche lovability there. Magic, amazing character. Mordo, amazing character. Scarlet Witch, still an amazing character, by the way. I know people will say not so much. The Hood, good champion, great even. You can use them for so many different things. The idea of kind of like going invisibility, the invisibility thing is just, it's pretty cool. Where a lot of like attacks can miss. That can be incredibly helpful for certain aspects of the game. Some kind of like harder end bosses, maybe even in the scheme of things of being a good heroic master level champion to play against the end kind of like bosses for chapters. Thor, Jane Foster, a little bit average. I mean, Shock's pretty good off that champion, but there's nothing kind of like totally stands out amazing. Unstoppable Colossus, good champion, but it's just, he's just there in the game. It's a change up from Colossus and Juggernaut. It's pretty cool. But of these, I would probably say we've got like a 8 to 9 out of 10 like hit ratio with regards to successability and kind of lovability at the same time. There's the odd couple of champions, so it's like we're looking like an 80% approval rating for characters in here, which is then it's like puts it kind of a graph, puts it all along the top, and it's just a strong roster of classes. And I really can't wait to get a few of these. It's going to be there's a few of them that I really want to get, and like a 5-star in particular, like Magic, and then I wouldn't mind getting a 5-star Dr. Voodoo. So hopefully in the future we can get that. With regard to changes and increases, yeah, I can see like them doing a special kind of Mystic thing. I don't know, with the release of films and stuff coming out, it would be applicable to do that. We're looking at something in Infinity Wars, maybe something Mystic that assists. But still, only time will tell with regards to stuff coming out. Should we see another Mystic? They're currently sitting, as I said, at 13. They need another 3 to get a bit closer to the others. So that will be the next way to kind of pad this class out. Science currently sits at about 16. A lot of the numbers that I'm throwing out, these are ones that are based on kind of currently in the game, or you could get away with them being in the game. This is like, I am going largely off a list plus some other kind of information with new stuff coming in, like Vulture, Green Goblin, and there's also debating about Doc Ock being science, but I think that's probably best not to be kind of inputted within the video, and just talking about what we see. So Abomination, Ant-Man, Captain America, the list goes on. Of this, again, it's very kind of like hit or miss, or kind of like it's like inconsistently consistent. Abomination is Poison, alright, not so good though. Things could be greatly improved with that character. Standard Captain America is good, but Captain America World War II is better. Electro is good, but not entirely effective. I think that if they implemented him as a 5-star, they've got to really home in on that Electro kind of like shock ability and have it kind of increase a lot more with regards to damage. Obviously, you can heighten signature abilities, so you could see something with the balancing your team so that that particular champion is more stronger than others. But yeah, doesn't really kind of, I'd say, shout out that I am really good and really effective. You could use him Alliance Wars, but anyway, Hulk is a lot better than he was. He is so much more effective and thoroughly enjoyable. It's really kind of exciting to see where they're going to go with Gladiator Hulk, because he's more than likely going to come into the game. How similar he will be to Standard Hulk or any of the other Hulks, but still, it's going to be probably on the lines of being more Fury. I don't know if they ever get a replicate. They're going to replicate that. I don't think that would be a wise idea. Make it a little bit more unique would be entirely better. Joe Fixit, rubbish. Luke Cage, meh. Could be so much more better, so much more potential. Quake, very good champion, very good champion. Red Hulk, very good champion. Rhino, good champion. He's got good things about him. She-Hulk, good champion, not amazing. Spider-Gwen, good champion, not amazing. Spider-Man, amazing Spider-Man. A very good champion. The thing is, I am toying at the moment whether or not to use my Science Awakening gem on Spider-Man and then kind of rank him up further and utilize him a bit more. If not, he then will just be a defense for Alliance Wars. I'm not entirely certain with that. I will need a little bit of thinking time on that, because I was more Alliance hoping that I would get a 5-star Hulk at some point. I mean, I've got all the other trash 5 stars. I just need one other decent 5-star to kind of rank up at Science, and I thought that would have been at point close to it. I think we would be close to it, but it's not. It's far from it, so I may just go with what I've got and take it from there. Spider-Man Miles Morales, a very good champion. Bit different to kind of the other Spider-Mans, but still retains the kind of elements of evade and kind of spider sense within the abilities of the champion. Yellow Jacket, I mean, for me, I absolutely love this champion. I think it's a great champion, but a lot of people will disagree with me on that one. I think if you enjoy things with regards to the power sting, which I do enjoy that as quite a lot, I can utilize them more for things, especially that if I'm having a difficulty in arena against Hyperion, I will put this character against Hyperion, basically because I feel that the champion is gonna trigger the L3 a lot more and not really kind of evade out. And yeah, I can be there for about a minute trying to get Hyperion to do his like L1, L2, and it's too late, because then he's gone up to the L3, and I've got nothing for that. I've got no damage up to that point, but then all of a sudden, boom, there we go, and I need something as a little bit of a revenge, and a power sting is there. Even more effective if then I'm just reapplying that on the stun, and then we're getting the kind of replication of the power sting. Great. But yeah, I mean, just in my opinion, I really do enjoy that champion. Like I said, a lot of people will disagree with me, but hey, it's up to you. With regards to padding, I don't think this needs much padding. Loosely, as we agreed that there's Green Goblin coming in, more than likely will be Science. If you look at the way that Ant-Man's presented, in the fact that there's Science within it, obviously he is in a tech suit, it's more than likely it will be along the line of Science, which then will put the numbers up to like 17. Doc Ock, I probably would say would be more tech orientated than he would be science orientated, basically because the element of science within there is sort of changing him, but then it's like saying, well, there's kind of an augmentation of tech like Rocket or Nebula or Yondu than it would be along the lines of say Ant-Man there. It's like with Green Goblin, I can see that being a thing, because he takes whatever he does, like Norman Osborn, whatever, injects himself with something that then alters stuff within him. It's like that's the element of science, the same way that, Bruce Banner kind of like injected himself and then went into radiation, or if you're a different story, then just went into radiation. But still, it's like a super soldier serum injected with something, changes. So it's like, unless you go down the lines of going like Green Goblin will be science/tech, then that's when things get a little bit more sillier. So let's just skip that one and say that I don't think they need to add any more, and Green Goblin should be the stop point, because that would make it 17. Skill at the moment is getting the Royal Screwjob with regards to the extent of characters, and we're looking at, unfortunately, 14. And I tell you what, there are some real gems within this, which I think are hugely enjoyable. Agent Venom I find incredibly enjoyable. Tenacity is a great ability. Black Panther, the extent of Lacerate is just phenomenal. I enjoy using the 3-star version because the bleed is more substantial because it's at 99. For Lacerate, I've also got him at 4-star, but I think he's at level 60 or 40. And I do like him now. I do think he's a candidate for rank 5. I'm debating on a few other ones. It's actually an argument between Agent Venom and Black Panther, which one is getting the rank. I also have him at 5-star, but I can't take him any further just yet, because at 5-star he's not awakened, and it's only really when he comes into his own. And I've got signature stones for 5-star waiting for the point where I one day get him awakened, but it's just not happening. Anyway, Black Panther Civil War, I do enjoy the fact of, you have to really understand when you're playing off against him that whilst he's got that armor up, don't try and parry him. It's just then based on doing an intercept. That's the best form of course with regards to playing against him. Other than that, at times I do find him a little bit tricky, but that's just me just like failing against him. And you get this sometimes. There's some characters you don't really kind of play too well against, and I'm learning to not be a complete idiot when I'm playing up against Black Panther Civil War. Using as an offensive character, I think he's absolutely horrible and not good at all. Black Widow, still really good. Signature ability reduction against the enemy is still pretty effective. Crossbones, again, great, really effective, similar to the tenacity ability for Agent Venom. Good champion. Really would like to get him at 4-star. Daredevil Classic, a lot more handier than he used to be. A lot of people have kind of slated him in the past, but he's a lot more. Netflix Daredevil, don't even talk about it. Elektra, yeah, very good champion. Falcon, very good champion. Gwenpool, amazing champion. Bleed's amazing. Hawkeye, very good champion. A lot of people do slate him, but he's quite effective, especially like constantly L1, reducing down power of enemy, quite effective. Karnak, very good, but he's kind of like, I'm a bit unsure about that. Moon Knight, good, not amazing, good. Punisher, a lot better than he was. And Winter Soldier, good. You know, he's a lot better than he was. All in all, these champions here, skill, do need a bit of a look at, but it is a case of there's some real gems within it. I would say it's more kind of like peaks and troughs, so we've got like hits and misses, hits and misses. There's no kind of consistency with that, and I think that Mystic is very consistent with what they do. Science is, it's very difficult to find a hit within it. There's several ones that hit. But anyway, we'll finalise in a minute. Let's just quickly go into tech. Now, tech is where the big changes are. A lot of things that have happened this year have introduced tech characters, especially in the last 12 months. And we've seen a real, I think it was, we've kind of like picked up nearly, what was it? Must be about 6 champions in tech, something like that. We've got Civil Warrior. We then went Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck, Nebula. We've got Yondu, Punisher 2099. Spider-Man Stark Enhanced, Ultron Classic, obviously from Labyrinth of Legends, or Legends of Labyrinth, and potentially we'll see Vulture and potentially Doc Ock within this. It's a line which was just crap. It just had like a very kind of, it was flatline, like it was just like death on arrival. It was one of the worst lines. Adding Nebula was a good thing, good champion. Punisher 2099, good champion. Obviously within that, like me saying it's completely flatline, the only ones that really stood out would just be Star-Lord. OG Vision is good, but the downside is the extent of what you have to pay to get him is ridiculous. So I'd say that the Star-Lord's not going to really be considered within tech, because he's like, I mean, he's just like, he is in tech, but he's one of those things where he's like, he's literally up in heaven looking down on the rest of them, just going like, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but you need to up your game. So that's the thing. Now that these new champions have been added in, it kind of improves the line. We've gone out the days with regards to Stark stuff being in there, and obviously we've got Superior Iron Man. But it's still, you know, it's very interesting to see where they're going to go in future with the tech line. I think after the Spider-Man events, we're going to see a stop on tech and more focus on other areas, as it just seems more logical that that other classes would get a more of a kind of a booster, because that's vitally important. My final thoughts on the classes. and the extent of numberings just kind of like point to improvements that need to be made. I think the cosmic do need to get looked at, because there's some elements to some of the characters and you kind of feel that they need a little bit more padding than most. So some of the new champions coming in hopefully will retain some real strength, or get some strength to them. That's not really excusing the attributes. The attributes are always the same way. You don't see a kind of substantial amount. They're kind of like average, and then as things go on with signature ability, they get better. Kind of feels a little bit kind of, I'd say, raw, with Pain still from Thor being kind of stripped down a lot from his glory days. I mean, still good, but not as good as he used to be, which then is disappointing, because a lot of new characters coming in. It's exactly what we thought was going to happen. People are still interested in new characters coming in and do use them a lot more, but at the same time, as if we're kind of like going with harder content coming in the game, then surely it would be best to have those that we had prior to 12.0, where they were more stronger. Yes, we could have exploited things within them, but if you make the game harder, then what's the point? You just make the content a little bit harder, not the characters nerfed, because then the new characters that are coming in aren't as powerful to kind of go up against, and we get into the bad kind of habit, as Kabam I think would kind of look at us having a bad habit, that we favor certain champions over others. So we kind of go, what's the point? What's the point of nerfing these characters, because some of them aren't as good as they should be, and at the same time as being like, well, shouldn't we just have the ones that were the cheap ones a little bit more to kind of get us through parts of the game? When it looks to padding, it's got to be Mystic Line, so the Mystic Line needs padding. The Mystic Line is very consistent line of class champions, so hopefully in the future they can look to that. Skill is the next one, and it's very difficult to then pick up champions within skill that you would say would fit the bill, because I can't see any others that would kind of hold a place. Skills placement in the game is a very difficult one. It's like saying, well, how can Hawkeye make a difference against Thanos? And then you look at the kind of source material and kind of pick off champions that would have the skill level in order to kind of assist. And that's where tenacity and things with crossbones and the way they function with regards to taking down and Black Widow with regards to reducing down signature ability against enemies is really effective, or the extent of bleed from champions with regards to skill makes that line have real standout gems. And the way that they should go is to look about maximizing damage and at the same time reducing down enemy signature ability, kind of like the way that we kind of have like taunt and poise with Stark suited Spidey. That kind of element of kind of reducing down enemies may be the way that they should really go with that. I feel Mutant is one of those lines where there's hits and misses, and there's a little kind of like changes that should really be done with Magneto and a few others, but largely they get it right, and it is a very, very interesting and exciting line, and there's some real amazing characters in there. There's a good amount of consistency, but a couple of flat lines which I'm not particularly a big fan of. Going on to tech and science, tech really has one champion that stands out above the rest, and that is Star-Lord. New champions coming in have this new way, or new edge that Kabam like to put in, that stacking certain things and things going on with regards to like charges was punished 2099, and the kind of like start tech stuff with Spidey. This kind of accumulation of stuff in the way that we're fighting can be great for endgame things. It just means that it gets people's interest out of the Mystic line and more into other lines. So I suppose in some ways that's what Kabam are trying to do, get us to kind of go different lines to find that one god level champion. And then with science, yeah, there's a few kind of like big hidden gems in there that really kind of shout to us that they are effective. I like obviously Captain America World War II, it's one of the favourite champions I use within Alliance Quest still, and some of my offense with Alliance Wars. So you know, it's good. There's a lot of good champions, and the way that they did Hulk, improvements to Hulk, is great. With the way that they're going, I don't think we're going to see any more from tech. We've kind of really shoved too much out there, and I hope they just ease off that. And then finally with science, yeah, science. I think that we've got Gladiator Hulk coming soon, so that's something to really kind of be excited about. But you know, where or what kind of line are they going to do with it? Will they introduce something with regards to regeneration with him and kind of keep it more authentic? So a lot of the characters that come in and the comic book kind of source material linking up I don't know. They did Secret Empire Forever, which is the Secret Empire thing with regards to comic books coming into the game. Don't know really what they're going to do. Tie it to movies, yes, no, maybe. Exciting times to come. But I just kind of thought I'd do a video on the state of affairs with regards to classes, their relationships, stuff coming in, and who is getting the royal screw job. And at the moment, it is just Mystic and Skill. And that is pretty difficult because Mystic seem to be a lot very popular, and even Skill with certain characters, but it's largely the bleeders and the stat and signature reducers that seem to be the ones there. So thanks very much for watching this video. Sorry it's been a bit long. If you did enjoy it, hit that like button, subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content, and as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye bye for now.